Hey, you guys, welcome to Petty Talks with Asia. So, I wanted to talk about this James Charles situation where a former Spirit Airlines employee lost her job after Spirit collapsed. There was no severance, there was no safety net, there was no backup plan. Just suddenly, like 17,000 employees from Spirit lost their jobs when Spirit completely went under because they had to go bankrupt. There was supposed to be some kind of government bailout, but it didn't work, and they ended up going bankrupt. All the employees lost their jobs, and Spirit did not have any kind of severance for them. So they literally are just struggling right now. Um, like many people do when they're desperate, she reached out for help. She made a GoFundMe for herself, and then she DM'd James Charles and she sent him a GoFundMe link and she asked him for financial help. She was just like, "Hey, I'm a Spirit former a former Spirit employee, and I'm really going through it right now, and I just really need help." So Jaden Charles, he could have just ignored it. He could have just like privately declined and just like, "Hey, I just really can't, do this right now," or whatever. He could have deleted the message and kept it moving. He honestly could have just posted it to his followers and be like, "Hey, this person really needs help. She was a part of that Spirit Airlines situation. So can y'all help her?" Even if he couldn't help. But instead, he took it to TikTok like most people are doing nowadays. Like he publicly aired this woman out. He mocked the message. He called it lazy. He called it entitled. He basically framed her as someone random person looking for an easy way out instead of applying to jobs. He told this woman she should have applied to 100 jobs before, like the time it took you to reach out to me and to other influencers, you could apply to 100 jobs. Like, why are you asking me for money when you should be working harder? That kind of thing. Um, and like the response was so disgusting and it really ignored reality. So James acted like her reaching out was proof that she didn't want to work. Like when in reality, losing your job unexpectedly can throw you into a like complete chaos. People don't realize that check to check thing is actually real. Like this wasn't just someone quitting because they didn't feel like working. Her company collapsed. Her whole fucking job went away. Like there was no company for her to, like even try and get like severance, like try and have a discussion with HR, nothing. HR is fired. Spirit employees just didn't stop trying. Their livelihoods were ripped out from under them. And what made his response even worse was the public humiliation. Like instead of just saying no, he turned a struggling person into content. He used someone's like desperation for a viral moment, and that just says a lot. Because when wealthy influencers see poor people struggling, some of them genuinely don't see human beings. Like they just see an annoyance. It just really is just so fucking insane how you can literally go from you clocking in to work one day, you lose your fucking job, and then you having to go to what is it called? You having to think about like unemployment. You live in check to check already, so that check that you got paid, for that first 2 weeks, that's already guaranteed towards a set of bills. And I don't think that they realize that like people don't have money like that, especially with gas and stuff being higher, food being higher, for single people, first of all. But could you imagine losing your job being a single person? Your income is the only income. You know, if she had like a spouse or something, what if they both work for Spirit Airlines? You know what I mean? They both put each other on. Like even if it was just one of them working for Spirit Airlines and one of them losing their job, because that was 17,000 people. Somebody there was married, lost their job, and then they're relying on one income. One household income is not what it was back then, where dad was going to work, making the money and coming home. It's not like that anymore. You need two people. Even if you're a single person, you need two incomes. That's why people are working two and three fucking jobs. Like, it's not just a situation. And even like trying to get two and three jobs, Like his whole go and apply for 100 jobs comment was especially wild because in this economy, like 100 jobs is barely scratching the surface. People are out here applying for hundreds of jobs right now, 300, 500, 600, thousands of jobs. People with degrees are struggling. People with decades, 25 years plus of experience are struggling to get a new job if they lose their fucking job. They have been working with their company for 25 years and they manager got 17 direct reports. They lose their job. They start off at square one. They can't even get a job in that same field. People are getting ghosted by these employers when they send in their application. They're being auto rejected. They're being underpaid. They're being ignored. Like him saying that like job searching is some simple checklist was incredibly privileged. There is no just work harder in this economy. This is survive however you can in this economy kind of thing. That's why we're seeing so many people become influencers. That's why we're seeing so many people, switch from not having just one job, having multiple jobs. That's why we're seeing so many people do DoorDash and all this other kind of stuff. There is no just easy job. There is no just go into work, you do your job, you go home. For some people, maybe, but for a lot of people, they fucking struggling. And I do want to say that yes, James Charles, he did apologize, but even in his apology, there was still this undertone that asking for help was somehow taking the easy way out. Like, and that is the issue because asking for help when you are desperate is not a moral failure. It is not. It is survival. Is a systematic failure. This girl losing her fucking job because her company went under had absolutely nothing to do with her. It had something to do with the system. It had something to do with Donald Trump needlessly going into war with Iran, the fucking gas prices being so high that Spirit Airlines could not compete. They could not get the gas they need to run their fucking planes, and then the shit just went down. She was one of 17,000. You gonna tell it to every single one of them people that you need to get off your ass and fucking work? Bitch, that's 17,000 jobs that gotta come out of thin air like that. These other airlines are not fucking hiring. They're going through their own shit. JetBlue just had to go through bankruptcy. They trying to get their own government bailout. They hoping that they don't go through the same shit like Spirit. We got Frontier fucking crashing planes and shit. Like all this other stuff. Like these airlines are struggling. There are so many people, probably a million plus people that work with all these airlines. When this stuff starts crashing and they don't have money because of, if the gas goes above like $17 an hour, I mean $17 an hour, $17 a gallon and stuff like that, and they don't have money to run their planes, what you gonna tell all them people? What you gonna tell them? You a fucking millionaire. In his first video he was saying that, well, you didn't help me, you didn't ever support me. I didn't support a millionaire. I didn't buy none of your whack ass palettes. I didn't listen to none of your music and stream your whack ass music. I didn't watch none of your whack ass fucking videos that you putting on this ugly ass makeup. No, I didn't support you, bitch, because I had to go to work. Like I get fired if I'm on my fucking phone. I'm going to work, going home, going to work, going home, going to work, going home. I don't have time to do that. I'm not James Charles. Like I don't get the option to just motherfucking just sit there and do nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking frustrating. And poverty is just not laziness. Like rich people, celebrities, and influencers, they love pushing this idea that poor people are poor because they just are not working hard enough. Kim Kardashian, well, her whack ass talking about some get your ass up and work. If you want to be like me, you need to get your ass up and work. Be like you how? You are selling fucking Skims. The scams is made in a warehouse. This idea that you can be an ethical billionaire is fucking bullshit. You cannot make that amount of money. You cannot amass that amount of wealth where your money starts making its own money without exploiting people. You are directly exploiting people because I'm pretty sure that if we go in them damn warehouses, it's a damn slave shop. Okay? They over there making that spandex shit. They whipping people on their motherfucking back. You better hurry up because Mommy Kim need her money. Jeff Bezos. Amazon. You think the people over there in them warehouses motherfucking singing and whistling and shit? I was one of them. I was not singing nor whistling. Like it don't work like that. So James Charles is literally saying the same repackaged idea as Kim Kardashian. Like basically get up, work, apply for a job, get a job. It don't work like that. Do you think that there would be so many unhoused people? Dallas, California, where you live, Atlanta, where I'm at right now. Do you think that the unemployment and unhoused rates will be so fucking high if it was just easy you get a job? Do you think that people would be do you do you really think that people would be living on the street when they could get a job, get an apartment, get a car. Even if they didn't get a car, like they could just do that. Like even our transportation is fucked up. I used to live in Dallas. They don't even have trains that go everywhere. I mean, honestly, living in Atlanta, they don't even have trains that go everywhere. You can't get to everywhere you need to go to. If your second job is an hour away, there's no train to get there. How you gonna get there if you ain't got a car? How you gonna get there if you ain't got a car? Come on. So that just limits jobs in and of itself. Like everything, like honestly, being poor, like just poverty is so fucking expensive. Like right now you have gas costing almost $4, no, almost $4 a gallon. Like transportation costs money. Like if you want to go print a resume and you want to give it out, you want to go in person and stuff like that. Printing resumes cost money. Even if you want to do that shit on Indeed, you still got to pay for the Wi-Fi. You know what you're gonna do? Oh, I'm just gonna go up to McDonald's and use their free Wi-Fi. How you gonna get to McDonald's? Like the interview clothes, they cost money. Childcare costs money. While if you got kids, like you're trying to go to these interviews and stuff, that's gonna cost you money. Food costs money for not just for your kids, for you. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. If you do have multiple kids, that costs so much money. That's why people like it when their kids are in school because they can at least have like at least 2 or 3 meals. But sometimes you gotta pay for that. Like if you don't get food stamps and stuff like that, if you don't get reduced lunch and stuff, you gotta pay full amount for that. Like unemployment systems are confusing. Like the support systems are broken. I don't even want to tell you how difficult it is sometimes to like find where you're supposed to file for unemployment. If you can't get up to that unemployment office, if you just want to like, look, I don't even want to have to talk to nobody. I just want to file for my shit and then just go on with my business. You know how difficult it is, like trying to get up there and print the stuff and like fill it out and everything. It's difficult. Like some people are not lazy whenever, like, oh, okay, well, you can do this. Some people are not being lazy. Like they are literally just drowning. They don't have a way out. They need help, so they're asking for help. And then you ask for help from people like James Charles, and then you get blasted on fucking line. People like James Charles, his reaction, the reason why I rub people so wrong is because he is constantly posting his wealth, his luxury trips, the ugly ass clothes that he be wearing, the mansions that he lives in, the cars, the access to wealth, to money that he has. But when a struggling person sees that wealth and they ask for help, suddenly they're offensive. How dare you come to me with your poor ass? Like, how do you bring your poorness to my doorstep? Now it's like you don't even support me as a millionaire. Could you imagine telling somebody? Could you imagine for a second being a multi-millionaire telling somebody who probably even when they had their job made like $40,000, you don't even support me? Like, why are poor people expected to support rich influencers while rich influencers act insulted by poor people? It's so fucking backwards. Like, and even outside of that a little bit, I remember this story about Stephen Curry. He was opposing, him and his wife, they were opposing affordable housing that was like behind or like separated by a gate with their home. Again, it was wealthy people. you know Wealthy people often support community until it impacts helping them personally. Like they were basically saying that affordable housing was going to put them in danger because they just didn't feel safe. Like it was like a privacy concern. He was worried that it was going to bring like a lot of attention to him and his family and all that kind of stuff because he is a celebrity. Girl, fuck you. They don't give a fuck about you. They just trying to get some affordable housing and send their kids to the very nice schools that your kids go to. And let me tell you what it reminded me of, this light-skinned bitch. It reminded me of Joe Biden when he was saying that black kids should not be going to the same schools as white people, and white kids. And it also reminded me when they were saying that black kids should not have, when he was saying that black kids should not have access to ride the same school buses as these white kids. Like it was so fucking disgusting. You know, you are a biracial black person, and you sitting over here talking about some these black people should not be living near you because they poor. Simply like being poor is just when I tell you it's the worst thing in the world. Being black and being poor is just awful. But I tell you, just poor is just horrible. You know what I mean? Like this is in California. Most of them people, while they would have been non-white people, they definitely would have been black people. You know what I mean? Trying to take up this opportunity and get their kids into some, nice school. And it's just like, no, you can't do that because Stephen Curry is Stephen Curry and his whack ass wife Aisha Curry are blocking that. Like often people with money, they're okay with poor people existing as long as they do it somewhere else. Like you can be poor, but just don't bring it in front of me. Don't bring it in front of my eyes because I don't want to see that shit. If wealthy people like celebrities and influencers refuse to help their communities while benefiting from broken systems, then we should be taxing them more. It's not something that's going to be done because we have people like Donald Trump in the White House. He's trying to get them tax breaks. He's trying to tax poor people more. I don't give a fuck what they got going on. Don't be poor. That's the only thing that he's saying. But if you got money, if you got a little money on it, then you good. You're not going to get taxed. Like, and the money that we tax rich people, it should definitely go towards like housing, food, education, and resources. Because if you hoard wealth with society, while society collapses around you, like what exactly are you contributing to? Y'all only care about what y'all have, what y'all can do for y'all people, and it's just like fuck everybody else. But y'all don't seem to realize that when society collapses, which is happening exactly right now, being late stage capitalism, like who y'all gonna be in community with? Other rich people? Y'all gonna get together, with y'all motherfucking dust hats and like rule. We rule over here, you know. But even right now, I was making a joke, but like even right now, like we are seeing like society collapse because like we are seeing poor people's rights constantly under attack. Like we have voting rights under attack. We have access to healthcare, access to resources being under like taken away from us. Um, and people rarely care until those losses hit them personally. And like one thing that I always think of, I can never remember exactly what it is, but I had to look it up. So it was the poem like First They Came, and it was by Martin Neilmore. It's basically a Nazi poem, or not Nazi poem. It's basically a poem about the Nazi what happened during Nazi times. Of First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I am not socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I am not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I am not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And that's exactly what's happening right now. While yes, we are talking about someone who just lost their job because, you know, what happened with Spirit going under, but I did not speak out for them and I didn't give a damn because they're poor and I'm not poor. You know what I mean? But James Charles, how quickly, access to wealth makes you forget that you are a white man. Or not that you are a white man, that you are a gay man. That's what I meant to say. You can be as white as you want because he is a Caucasian man. But when gay rights, when LGBTQ rights come on a chopping board again, because it will happen. It'll probably happen by the end of this fucking month. The way that they chopping shit down, they gonna have too many colored people rights to keep taking away. They're gonna start going for white people rights, poor white people rights, and then it's gonna somehow impact you because you are on that spectrum of being gay. Like once those rights start getting taken away, you're gonna be up in arms, crying and snotting and shit on TikTok, and it's gonna be like, no, but it was fine when this woman was asking you for help because she was poor. You know what I mean? Like that was a joke. You was irritated by that. That shit just irked your motherfucking soul. That it was fine for her to be going through poverty and poorness and everything. But when it comes to you, when it comes to your livelihood and your well-being, it's now we got to be up in arms. You know what I mean? Because we can't let these white people, we can't let these white men, don't matter what kind of other identifiers they have going on. We can't let them be going through stuff. And it's just like you don't understand that it will come like it's going to hit everybody else, but it eventually will come around to you. A lot of celebrities and influencers are insulated right now, but in this economy, if it keeps getting worse, if sponsorships dry up, if fame fades, if money disappears, they're going to meet the same system that they mocked, and that's when many of them finally realize like poor people were never lazy, they were literally just surviving. I think that the problem is that poor people are always in survival mode and that's all that we know. We don't know anything else. But the truth is that they will see they will see soon enough that how it feels to be in survival mode, the type of anxiety that it puts on you, like how physically draining it is. You know what I mean? To always be in survival mode of like I have to do this to eat. I have to do this to live. James Charles' response, it wasn't just rude, it was honestly just a perfect example of how wealth can strip people of empathy, of fucking humanity. Like he saw someone struggling and responded with judgment instead of humanity, and that's the bigger issue. People with means absolutely should help people without, whether directly, whether it's through taxes, whether it's through community support, because one lost job can honestly change everything. Like one missed check. If somebody leave $500 off my check, I swear to God, I will go ballistic because that is life or death for me. I swear to God, it is. And maybe instead of saying, why are poor people asking for help, we should be saying, why do so many wealthy people act offended by poverty? You know, um, I've talked long enough. I've seriously gone raspy at this point. But just let me know how y'all think. Like, I know nobody probably agrees with James Charles, but just tell me how y'all think about this whole situation. Thank you so much. This has been Petty Talks with Deja. Have a good day.